Hey, what's up guys? My name's Aaron. Never made a video on YouTube before, so this is going to be my first one. But it very well could be my most popular one as well. This is going to tell you how to hook up the wiring side of an ultramount snowplow. So I live in Oklahoma. We don't get a crazy amount of snow, but we just got a crazy amount of snow, like 7 to 8 inches. Even when it happens around parts of the state, that still doesn't happen where I live. So I bought this snowplow earlier this year, or last year, 2024, and it's an ultramount system. It has a 3-plug system. You have your headlight plug, you have your, I guess, your hydraulic plug, and then you have the other hydraulic plug. Now, obviously, not the technical terms. I found the handbook online. Those are your 3 plugs. It's a 3-plug system. They go right here, hydraulics and everything. But anyway, not the point. This is not going to be a mount video. Like the mounts, if you need one of those, I can make one. It's beyond easy. I found that out super simple. But this video is going to be how you mount it on a 2003 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. Not a 4-wheel drive, but this also has CNG in it, so yours could be a little more simple. But I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything on how these control modules or these isolation modules hook up. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting power in the cab. I couldn't figure out how to run with the wires, nothing. So that's what this video is going to be. So you have your isolation module. You have a 4-port isolation module. 3-port, it doesn't really matter. 3-port is just going to have what I believe to be 1 cord going to each headlight. But this one has 2 ports. One's supposed to be a long cord, one's supposed to be a short cord. It's no big deal. So this one has your solenoid. This is an older one, so it has a solenoid. It just kind of is what it is. It's no big deal. Now, sometimes if you get this all hooked up and you find out that something's not working, or it's working for a second and then it stops working. I've seen somebody here locally that has this actually taped off, like duct taped off. You can see the make and all that good stuff. But anyway, if for some reason it stops working, that could be the problem. So this was really corroded. It's still really corroded. So what I did was I took all these off and I just took a wire brush to these just in case, because I could not get power. I had all this hooked up right, but I didn't know I had it hooked up right, but I still could not get power. So here's the wiring side of things, right? Your isolation module, you have your solenoid, okay? On your solenoid, there's going to be this red wire and then one long cord that goes down to your positive terminal. And then you're going to have a solid black wire that goes from here all the way over to right here. And this controls whatever it plugs into down there. You have your wires and your controls down, or your wires that plug into the plow down here. I'm not the best at making videos, so just forgive me, but you can see right here, this is what I thought my first problem was. So I spliced these, and I use these little, I guess you'd call them adapters. I don't know. They're just used for splicing. So that's what I did there. Come to find out, that wasn't my problem. Here's a connector. This connects to, so it goes from, I'm trying to give you a better view. It goes from there, this little white or black cord with a red stripe, and it connects to the wire that goes down to your negative terminal. Can't really get it. There you go. You see it right there? But anyway, that's kind of the setup here, right? Like I said, I don't know how to put everything else in other make and models, but I just left this kind of dangling, but I was also in an emergency type situation. These are going to be your fuses. There are fuses in here. So these don't plug into anything. They are strictly fuses for your snowplow. Now, luckily, I had somebody who was taking care of them, and these fuses were brand new. So if for some reason after this video you realize that you're still not getting power, check these fuses. Check your connections here as well. So with all that being said, you have your isolation module. You have 2 ports, or you have 4 ports, 2 are only hooked up. This runs your plow. 1 and 2 runs your plow. So with all this set out, you have one that splits 3 ways, and it's super simple. You just hook that up, store it where you want it. Like I said, I put it here. It's probably not the best spot for it, but I didn't know where else to put it. And then you have a cord that runs through your firewall, and this part sucked. Those are your fuses, and this just hooks up to port number 1. This connector right here is how they draw power from each other. It goes from 1 and 2, and it puts power into number 2. But this cord, number 1 specifically, is going to have this red wire connected to it, and your 6-port for your control module, which is right here. So with all that being said, what I had to do here was I had to get up underneath there, and you can see it right there. I had to get that hole just big enough through my firewall to bring this cord in here. And once I got that, it was kind of smooth sailing, aside from figuring out where the hell to plug this in. And that I will tell you in just a minute. So with all of that being said, screw you a hole right down in there. Can't really see it from here, but screw you a hole through your firewall and feed this through. What I did was I actually initially duct taped this, or electrical taped this, and fed it through, and I got it through there. Well, I used weed eater line to find where it was, the hole, because I couldn't see it. And I actually almost put 2 holes in my firewall, but luckily one was in the right spot and one was not. But anyway, you have to drill through your firewall and feed this through there, okay? With this through your firewall, comes right here. Your number 2 is going to be hooked up, and it's going to have these cords all come through here, which I just cut this little part out and fed it through there. Super simple. I'm making this harder than what it's supposed to be, and I'm just trying to explain everything. If you need more information, let me know, because I will do what I can to help you out. But this was all set up right. I hooked this up 4 times and still did not get power to my control in the cab. My control switch, the whatever you want to call it, the controller. So I thought it was the solenoid. I also thought maybe it was the fuses. I thought maybe I wasn't getting connection there. I thought maybe it wasn't the it was the isolation module, which these things are stupid expensive. Keep a hold of these. Take care of them. These aren't that bad. They're like 60 bucks on Amazon, I think. But before you do any of that, the red cord that comes in your firewall, here's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and close all this. Like I said, I just let all this hang. It's not risking, or it's not going near my belt or nothing like that. It's just sitting here. So, like I said, if it grounds out, you can electrical tape that or duct tape that. It's what I've seen some people doing. And I just leave it be. Bam. With all of that being said, I hooked up my plow. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna work. You're good to go. I had no idea what I was doing wrong. I found one specific video with this gentleman. talking about the exact same thing that was happening to him as was happening to me. What it was this red wire. I could not figure out where to plug it. Initially, it had one of these on it right here, and I'm not good with electricity, nor do I know what the hell that is. So I called a buddy of mine, and he was like, oh yeah, you just have to find one of those fuse splicers. So this is an example. It came out of here, out of my fuse box. Go to O'Reilly's and buy you one of these, right? This cord, at least in my scenario, came with one of these on it. I snipped this off and spliced this on it. This is not connected to my controller. But I spliced that off, put this on it, and I put two 10-amp fuses in there. And what I did there was I started plugging it in places, right? And in this video, the one that I found that actually did something, the gentleman, you have to have a key on power. So one that I found was, I found my diagram here. And I was like, well, with all of these here, I know for sure that the ignition is going to be on when the ignition is on. So with that being said, I found my ignition fuse. I took that fuse out and I plugged it in there. And then I plugged that on. And by God, when I hooked everything up, I hooked this, my 6-pin, to my plug-in. I got a red light. Now, one thing you have to make sure of is you're going to have 3 plugs. I only had 2 hooked up to my plow. It's the 3 I showed you earlier. So initially, I only had 2 of these hooked up, and I believe it was these 2. So I had those 2 hooked up, but this hooks up to a 3-pin. I'll show you that in a second. This 3-pin hooks up to, I don't know if this is the right one or not. Come on. Not that one. To this one. So don't think you have the wrong plugs. The one with multiple plug-ins hooks up to this one. That's what I meant by a 3-pin, is this one has 3 pins on your truck side. And this one looks like it's supposed to have a crazy amount of holes, but you can see the only reason I was able to figure it out is because those 3 holes are cleared out. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. It must have to go there. But anyway, once I had everything hooked up, I only had these 2 hooked up. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. It's not working. Even though you don't have headlights hooked up, you have to have this one hooked up. But do not forget about this one. I don't think you would, because it's connecting right there. But just in case you did, make sure they're all hooked up. So I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do, but with all of that being said, like I said, it's a Western plow. It's a ultra mount Western Snow Plow. And that is a 4-plug isolation module, but you only have to use 2. If you want to use 4, you can. It's probably smart because I just don't have headlights. And the first night that we were out plowing, it wasn't a good time without headlights. Pardon me. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments. If this video helped you, like, possibly subscribe. Maybe I'll make some more YouTube videos on things that I learned the hard way. as a small lawn and landscape business owner. But past that, hope you guys have a great day. And I really hope this helps somebody out, because I couldn't find anything. If you need more, if you need to know how the mounts go on the truck, right here, just let me know, and I'll be happy to make another video. Peace.